A few weeks ago, I was watching Bandish Bandits. There's this moment when the lead character was performing a Jugalbandi so intense that as the final note lands, it starts raining. Now I know it's just a show, but I also knew that the series was dedicated basically to the Indian classical music. And somewhere I also studied early in my life about Tansen, one of the 9 jewels in Akbar's kingdom, who did the same. So I understood that this scene was not just some fluff, it has a deep rooted history. So I looked it up and started doing research on it, and I found that the rag which he was singing is known as Megh Malhar or monsoon rag, which was sung to bring rain during monsoon. And just contrary is Rag Deepak, which is said to generate heat and even ignite a diya. It's so intense that people avoid singing it because it increases the surrounding temperature to such an extent that people would actually sweat. These ragas dates back to 16th century and was famously sung by Tansen, one of the 9 jewels or Navratnas in Akbar's kingdom. See, Rag Deepak and Rag Megh both are the form of Indian classical music, so powerful that I couldn't figure out how is it so. But ultimately, music or ragas are also a type of sound that is sung in a proper arrangement. So I started studying more about sounds, how it influences everything that even Prakriti or nature responds to it, and to which I found that what we speak or listen and what we can't speak, every animate and inanimate produces sound. In fact, in yogic sciences, it is said that the first manifestation of the unmanifest, that is the creator, is sound. And more specifically, the sound Am. That is why Am is not some religious chant. It is seen as a primordial vibration from which all the creations emerges. And this is the basic sound that reverberates in every being and every object. But today in this video, I'm not going to talk about the significance of Am, rather something more basic than the fundamentals. Today, even scientists have discovered that matter is just an illusion under the study known as semantics, where they show that how sounds can shape matter. If everything is sound, means everything is emitting vibration. And in further study, I found that 99.99% of this entire universe is just energy or vibration, or say the sound. This means that whatever we utter, whether it is a mantra or any random word, the meaning is just an illusion, just for the sake of our understanding. In other words, the meaning has no significance. Rather, the sound has a deep impact on our physical, psychological, and deeper self to such an extent that it has power to get connected to the creator or no thing or simply space. So let's understand that how sound is the very basis of our existence, already known in Sanatan Dharma, through ancient scriptures, through scientific experiments, and through Sadhguru. In 1967, a Swiss doctor, Hans Jenny, conducted a series of experiments that changed how we understand sound. He placed sand, powder, and liquid in separate plates and passed pure sound frequencies through them. What he found was that the matter started to arrange itself into precise geometric shapes. And as the frequency was increased, the pattern became more complex and symmetrical. And these patterns weren't artistic, they were mathematical and tied directly to the vibration of sound. This proved that sound is not just something that we hear, it's something that organizes matter. And if sand responds that way to the frequency, imagine how our body, which is mostly made up of water and vibration, responds to the sound that we chant, hear, or even think. So looking into this, another Japanese scientist, Dr. Masaru Emoto, conducted an experiment where he took samples of water, exposed them to different types of sounds, words and thoughts, then froze them and observed the resulting water crystals under a microscope. What he found was really surprising. Water exposed to positive words like love, gratitude, formed beautiful symmetrical crystals, whereas water exposed to negative words like hate or harsh sounds formed distorted broken patterns. What's important here is the direction they point us in. The sound or intention directly influences the structure of matter. Now, our ancestors already had this understanding that the whole universe is just a vibration. And based on this, Nad Yoga was built. And even yogic sciences says that Nad Brahma, that means sound is divine. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika speaks about Anahata Nad, the unstruck internal sound, and how meditating on it leads the yogi to liberation. And this is what Sadhguru also says, that sound is just a device. Once you align to the sound, it leads you to silence. That's where the real yoga begins.
What we refer to as music is a more refined arrangement of these sounds that the creation is already making. The Indian classical music particularly comes from a very deep understanding of the human system, because all our experience of life is essentially happening within us. Because we are the basis of our experience, everything that we do is based upon the nature of the self. Because of this, the music identified certain dimensions of the body which are responsive to the sounds that we generate or the sounds that come towards us. The human system being seen as 5 koshas or 5 sheets or layers of body, the Annamaya kosha, the Manomaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha and Anandamaya kosha. Among these 5, Pranamaya kosha is the most significant one. Pranamaya kosha is made up of 72,000 nadis, which meet and redistribute in 114 significant ways, or there are 114 junction boxes in the human system. Of these, 2 are outside the physical nature and 112 are within. Out of these 112, 4 are dormant to a large extent. So 108 active energy centers in the body are chakras in the body. Based on this, these 108 are divided on the right and the left in the form of Ida and Pingala. They're divided as 54 each. Based on this, we formed a Sanskrit alphabet of 54 sounds. These 54 sounds in 2 manifestations of feminine and masculine, we have 108. These 108 sounds, these 54 in 2 different shades or 2 different manifestations amounting to 108 has a significance, and the whole music system evolved out of these 108. So the Indian classical music essentially is about touching these 108 or activating these 108 chakras or points in the body, which will lead to a natural evolution of the human being to a higher level of consciousness. So music has never been just in a form of entertainment, it has been a way of evolving an individual human being into a universal entity. So this dimension of activating the human system, this dimension of allowing the human system to evolve to its ultimate possibility by using these 108 sounds is called as Nada Yoga. So the Indian classical music is an evolution of this fundamental process of Nada Yoga.
So when I saw that scene in Bandish Bandits, the series, it ended with the rain, but it started and led me to something much deeper. It made me realize that everything we do, speak, think is affecting us, not only subtly but also structurally. And if that's true, then choosing the right sound isn't just a spiritual practice, it is also a part of survival. And if you want to explore this for yourself, you can try Nada Yoga. Not because I or someone says that it works, but because your body will tell you if it does. And that is why, since ancient times, people didn't practice mantras or yogas from some random books or sources. They received them through a guru who has realized them through a sadhana. Because the body is not just physical, it's a field of vibration, and the wrong input can misalign everything. So let's begin our journey from Ahata Nada or struck sound to Anahata Nada, that is unstruck sound or source of sound or silence. So, if you want to practice Nada Yoga, you have to download this app and just type Nada Yoga and you will be guided directly from Sadhguru. Don't think if it's free, it's of no significance. Just try it out before making any judgment and before investing. And if you're someone who have already practiced this before, do comment down how it has helped you. And with this ending up, Links I have provided in description. And if you have found this video meaningful, do not forget to share this with your friends and family, and also invite them to this sacred practice of Nada Yoga, because we want all of you to take yoga to your life through proper sources, certified yoga teachers, and Sadhguru himself, this International Day of Yoga. And with this ending up, if you are willing, do like and subscribe too. And up to next, stay safe, healthy, happy, and namaskar.